appreciate it. I have no idea if this is going to work. Forgive me for running a little late, and I am sweating my ass off here, folks, because there's no air conditioning. And even though it's only like 90 degrees or whatever in here, the fan's going, so that always helps. But let me know, you guys, if you can hear me. Put a comment up or maybe a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to confirm that we're actually live here. I think we're live, yeah. Oh, wow. I've got audio on my end. Well, that's always nice. Okay, wow. I think we've got audio. Yay. Okay, what's up, everybody? Jon TheMorgile here, sweating my ass off here in beautiful Honeyett Path, South Carolina. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the air conditioning is out here. So I do have air, like a little window shaker unit in the bedroom. But I forgot just how hot it is here in the rest of the house with no central air working. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this up, you guys, honestly. But lo and behold, I got my internet set up yesterday here at the new place. So that's a huge surprise. They weren't supposed to have internet ready until the year 2025 is what I was told. But, you know, they've been running DSL lines up and down the road here for the last few months. And so I knew that, it was coming. I just didn't know if we'd be able to hang on for that long or whatever, with no internet. But then they were canvassing day before yesterday, so Friday, and I flagged the dude down, and I ended up having to pay. And big thanks and shout out to Noah B, man. Noah B, if it hadn't have been for what you had sent, Noah B sent $100 and then $50 through Cash App, $150. And what I ended up having to pay for the internet to get set up was $114. So I was able to get some dinner too, but I got internet. So that, like, I've been praying for it, man. And I guess, they say the Lord moves and works in mysterious ways or whatever, but you don't expect it to be in the form of internet coming 6 months early or whatever it is. Maybe not 6 months at this point, but damn early, right? So thank God for that. Praise be to the Most High on that. So I do have one thumb. So, and I think y'all can hear me. I think y'all can see me. So yeah, that's very nice. What's up, Target Whitman? See you soon. What is the meaning behind the name The Morgile? Nick Havoc asks. Okay, so while we're still waiting on people to pile in, it doesn't really mean anything. And for those of you guys that are just piling in, I'm sweating my ass off because it's hot in here and there's no air conditioning in this side of the house. So I'll just run a comment, right? Or y'all help me out and run a comment. So years ago when I started playing Battlefield 2142, that was Morgile, not just Morgile was my gamer tag for Battlefield from that point forward. And the reason Morgile, I don't know, because it's, well, Battlefield is always like the US or the EU versus the Russians, right? So the name Morgile kind of sounds like it would work in English or in Russian, I think. I don't know. That's why I made it up, man. Just made it up. Doesn't mean anything. Okay. So anyway, so the main thing I wanted to do, I got a computer, and a big thanks and shout out to Kristen and her family for sending this computer. It flies. It's great. It's so much better than the one that I had. And not to mention the one that I had wouldn't even boot up. Like, it had been dropped, and it wouldn't find the operating system. So I've just been without a computer this whole time. And within the last week, really, the last week, I got a computer and miraculously got internet set up. So within the last 2 weeks, I lost my car and lost my job, got the car back, cost $644. So it's just been one hell of a week. I basically live on the moon, right? So like it's like 10 or it's like 8 miles to the store, right? So without a car out here, you're basically just dead. So I took money that I didn't have and put it to get the car out. But so the main thing that I wanted to stream about here, because this isn't a stream about my personal life, but we're going to do some NASA news. And I'll just catch up. Really, the main thing is let's catch up on this one story that's been several months in the running, and I've just been incommunicato because I haven't had any sort of internet or computer or anything. I've just been doing what I can with my phone. And I've actually gotten somewhat decent with CapCut, which is like an editing software that's, I guess TikTok makes it or whatever. And it's for the phone, but it's actually pretty decent, CapCut. But I'm just so much more used to, Windows applications. I'm old school, man. I'm a freaking dinosaur, I guess you could say. But, okay. And of course, so now my phone is like, because YouTube won't let you switch the orientation of the phone in the middle of a stream for whatever reason. So y'all can't see this, and I'm going to end up having OBS on this computer, but the camera, I've got OBS, but the camera doesn't work on my computer here. So it's just technical issues I'm going to have to iron out. But yeah, I've got a video in the works. It should be coming pretty soon, but I'm having issues with my Adobe products too. So bear with me, you guys. I'm just really glad that I'm able to do a live stream and do some NASA news for you guys. So I appreciate you being here with me. And let's just go ahead and get started if we can. We'll try. Okay, so the one that I wanted to catch up with was, and this article that we're reading from here is 7 months old. It's from theguardian.com. But you guys remember that I had done several streams about, I think I want to say the Artemis thing with the asteroid Bennu, where NASA, supposedly shot one of their cock rockets up into space and pretended to get dust off of an asteroid. Like the whole thing was just this big fiasco, like total nonsense, total typical NASA bullshittery. But, the main thing with it was that they weren't able to open the science capsule or whatever they called it to get at the dust from this asteroid or whatever, right? And so that's something that I really wanted to touch base with on you guys, because as far as I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, nothing has come of this. And so like the article where they were finally saying, because remember there was like this whole thing where they couldn't get the damn thing open, right? And they had all this science data within the science capsule. Really, that's a bunch of long words for dirt. But they couldn't get into the capsule, right? So they can send lying Freemasons to the moon and back. They can send cock rockets up into space to asteroids and collect dust samples, but they can't open the thing with their own bare hands. I mean, it's very unbelievable. But so 7 months later, okay, so 7 months ago, this is the article where they opened it. Okay, so this will be like a refresher. Curators at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston have said that they are overjoyed to have finally gotten a canister of asteroid dust open 4 months after it parachuted down through the Earth's atmosphere into the Utah desert. The Space Administration announced Friday that it had successfully removed 2 stuck fasteners. And this was Friday 7 months ago, by the way. 2 stuck fasteners that had prevented some of the samples collected in 2020 from the allegedly 4.6 billion year old asteroid Bennu, which is classified as a potentially hazardous asteroid because it has 1 in a 1,750 chance of crashing into Earth by 2300, according to the lying Freemasons at NASA. But what's so funny to me about this, just pausing from the article just for a second, so they've only, 7 months ago, they had only just been able to get at the dust and the samples to study the shit from the asteroid, but they already knew that it was 4.6 billion years old before they even cracked the thing open, right? because that's how good they are. They just know how old dirt is because their theories, absolute nonsense. And, that's given them so much credit as to assume, for argument's sake, that they actually sent their little cock rocket into space to collect dust off of that asteroid, right? Yeah, sure you did, NASA. We all believe you. Okay, so continuing with the article, the Space Administration announced on Friday, 7 months ago, that it had successfully removed those two fasteners. Most of the rock samples collected by NASA's Osiris-Rex mission were retrieved soon after the canister landed in September, but additional materials remaining inside a sampler head that proved difficult to access. No shit, right? After months of wrestling with the last two of the 35 such fasteners, scientists in Houston managed to get them dislodged from their own rectums. Oh, no, it didn't say that, just dislodged, not from their own rectums, actually. It's open, NASA's Planetary Alliance Division posted on Twitter/X. The division also posted a photograph of dust and small rocks inside the canister. Wow. Leave it to NASA to charge you $20 billion and give you a picture of some dirt and then tell you how old the dirt is without even looking at the shit, right? Yeah. According to the Los Angeles Times, the team designed custom tools made from a specific grade of surgical non-magnetic stainless steel to pry it open, all without the samples being contaminated by earthly air. NASA said it will now analyze the 9-ounce sample. Quote from Ashley King, London's Natural History Museum, said last year, 7 months ago, quote, "These are some of the oldest materials formed in our solar system," she said. And how did she know that? Quote, "Samples from asteroids such as this tell us what all those ingredients were making a planet, what all those ingredients were for making a planet like the Earth. And they also tell us what the recipe was. So how did those materials come together and start mixing together to end up with habitable environments?" King added. Yeah, that's a good question. How do random disparate materials in space come together to form habitable environments? That's a good question that will definitely never be answered, right? Anyway, back to the article, the billion-dollar spacecraft that collected the sample from Bennu, a space rock from the earliest days of the solar system, according to them, and released a canister towards Earth. It is now heading to a peanut-shaped asteroid named Apophis. For a time, astronomers thought Apophis might be on track to smash into planet Earth, but those fears have diminished, and scientists anticipate it will pass closer to Earth in 2029 than any object of its size ever has. Okay, so I don't think there's any sense to continue reading the remainder of this particular article, because you get the point. Remember 7 months ago when they opened the thing? Okay, so there's the refresher. Now there's a more recent article about the same asteroid thing, and this is from nasa.gov /centers and facilities. So NASA shares the asteroid Bennu sample in exchange with JAXA. And JAXA, of course, is the Japanese lying Freemasons who pretend to fake space and all that. Excuse me. As part of an asteroid sample exchange, NASA, I just love that, an asteroid sample exchange. NASA has transferred to JAXA, Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, a portion of the asteroid Bennu sample collected by the agency's Osiris-Rex mission. The sample was officially handed over by NASA officials during a ceremony on August 22nd, so just the other day, in JAXA's Sagamihara, Japan campus. The signature exchange for the Bennu sample, that's a caption for the picture that y'all can't see, so forgive me. I'm not set up for any sort of sharing at this point. I'm just very low tech for this test stream, but I think my network is doing pretty well, and I'm sweating my ass off because there's no air conditioning in here, for the record. Okay, so the asteroid sample transfer follows the November 2021 exchange, where JAXA transferred to NASA a portion of the sample retrieved from asteroid Ryugu by its Hayabusa 2 spacecraft. This agreement allows NASA and JAXA to share achievements and share lies even, and promote scientific and technological cooperation on asteroid sample return missions. The scientific goals of the two missions are to understand the origins and the histories of primitive, organic, rich asteroids and what role they may have played in the formation of the planets. And you know, it's funny, they call it this organic rich asteroid, which oddly enough, they actually knew that before they even got the samples back. Like there was actually articles detailing what the makeup of the samples were before they could open the canister. So, you know, what's the point? You know, what's the point in testing the samples if you already know what the hell's in there before you open the canister, right? But you know what they say, it's hard to be NASA and keep up with all those lies. Okay, so there's some more quotes from these NASA assholes, the NASSholes, as George Carlin would call them. Let me check in on the chat here, you guys. Yeah, give a like. Thanks, Headley Man BC. Appreciate that. What a world. Why is this stream unlike any format on YouTube I've ever seen? Don't like the layout at all. Okay, so I'll answer your question. I set up the stream to where I'm streaming from my phone, and I've got it leaned up on my laptop because the camera built into my laptop doesn't seem to exist according to Windows 11. Like, there's no support for that camera on Windows 11. So I'm using my phone, and I set up the phone to do the live stream through the YouTube app on the phone. But when I did so, apparently I set it up for portrait instead of landscape like I normally do. Usually there's an option in the advanced settings to allow you to switch from portrait back to landscape, but the option wasn't there. So it's stuck like this. And I hate it too. I'm sorry. Like, I do apologize. And I absolutely can't stand it because I've got to have my phone off to the left of my screen. Otherwise I can't see the screen, you know, because if the phone was rotated 90 degrees portrait style, then it would only take up, you know, like half the bottom of the screen or whatever. Anyway, so that's why it's like that, and I do apologize. I hate it too. What a world, for the record. Okay, so so basically what this article tells me, if you just read between the lines, is there's no new developments, you know, 7 months later after they, you know, there was this whole kerfuffle about cracking open the science capsule on the Osiris-Rex space probe or whatever. And yeah, absolutely nothing. And this is so typical of NASA because they specialize in vaporware, right? They specialize in kicking the can down the road to future generations, as if no one's ever going to remember the fucking lies they told 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Because remember, we were supposed to have flying cars and moon bases and Mars bases and all kinds of, you know, technology by now, thanks to the technologies gleaned from the space program and whatnot, right? But instead, what we get is a bunch of more promises and more expected dates to kick that can down the road to, right? So, and that's just more of the same. I mean, it's just, so now 7 months later, it's like we all forgot that, that there were supposed to be keys to, you know, unlocking the mysteries of the universe in that dirt, right? That 4.6 billion year old dirt, that they already knew its chemical composition and its age before they even looked at the shit, you know, because that's how good they are at science. Yeah, sure. Initial analysis of the Bennu samples has revealed this is the takeaway from this article recently. Initial analysis of the Bennu samples has revealed dust rich in carbon and nitrogen. Members of the Osiris-Rex sample analysis team have also found evidence of organic molecules and minerals bearing phosphorus and water, which together could indicate the building blocks essential for life. So this is exactly the same blurb that they reported to us, almost a year ago now. So basically, nothing burgers, which is all we ever get from NASA, is a big pile of nothing burgers ever. So, in the spirit of my first live stream and however long, I figured it was an important point to at least touch on Bennu and Osiris-Rex, right? Because that's something that I had intended to be keeping track of this whole time. But luckily, I saved y'all and myself a bunch of time, because absolutely fucking nothing has happened since, this entire time, with all that money that they've stolen from us, over that course of time. For nothing, man. Like, it's just a big fat goose egg. Zero, nothing burgers, just like we always get from NASA. I mean, but usually, at least, giving credit where credit's due, at least NASA usually gives us some sort of fancy, like, CGI rendering or whatever to gawk at, right? To wow us with, to dazzle us with graphics. But there's not a whole lot you can do when it comes to dazzling graphics of dirt, I don't think, right? Barbara Peterson, TheMorgile is a monster that lives in couches and pulls unsuspecting people to their doom. Yeah. All right, Barb Nick, whatever. Okay, so that's that. There's a couple other articles that I thought would be interesting for the stream, but I'm literally sitting here sweating my ass off. And there's 21 of you guys, now 18. Y'all are dropping like flies. There must be no air conditioning where y'all are at too. Yeah. No, we'll do one more. Okay, so really, so like the main thing I wanted to do was just make sure that that my network was going to support a live stream without any sort of buffering or issues like that. And it looks like we're golden bear on that. So mission accomplished, right? This is from businesstoday.in. Yeah, and see, the thing is, this phone is like right in my damn way. Okay, we're going to put it over here. Sorry. Okay, so Boeing Starliner spacecraft has safely returned to Earth after completing an uncrewed journey back from the International Space Station. The capsule touched down at White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico at 9:31 a.m., concluding a critical test mission for NASA's Commercial Crew Program. Because, the whole shtick is at this point that there's astronauts stuck on the ISS. They're so full of it. Absolutely full of it. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I'm like literally starting to burn up. But I think this was a successful little test stream, and forgive me. I'm going to cut it short, but I appreciate y'all being here with me. I really did just want to test out my network that I just got yesterday, and hopefully the next stream that I do will be very soon, and I'm going to be doing it from my computer instead of my phone, so I'll be able to do things like share graphics and stuff with you guys. Also, a new video is in the works. It's going to be, I've got the title and the script is done. I'm just in the middle of, the process of creating the video, and I'm having problems with Adobe, but was Jesus Christ a flat earther? So that's going to be sort of the working title. YouTube, what's up, brother? Brian Hawk, later, man. Love you guys. Yeah, I will see y'all very soon, man. Forgive me if I'm cutting it short. It's just too damn hot. I may actually end up doing another stream this evening once it cools down and I get something to eat and drink. It's just been kind of a long day, and I had a goal, and my goal today was to do a live stream, and that has been accomplished, and I think it was successful. So I do appreciate you guys. Love y'all very much. New content is in the works, and links below if you'd like to contribute to the channel effort and help us avoid yet another catastrophe. So more on that later. Love you guys very much and see you very soon. Bye, y'all.